Wow. Tanks just got stopped on that. So it's 6-0 Tanks with 11:29 to go in the first quarter. And they're about to – Tanks scored on a punt return by Richard Ellery. And then they sent it formation, but the Wildcats they must have watched the film pretty well on that because they ran that play at will on the 2-point conversion against the Bucks a couple weeks ago. So, all right, Tanks are lining up to kick off. Mark Deal getting the special teams group some instructions. And Zach Christensen, he lines up to kick. He runs up, and we've got a whistle. Oh, ball fell over. And Christensen kicks it. Oh, it's a good, solid kick down to about the 20-yard line. And it's caught and ran back to about the 35-yard line. And that looks like Mackenzie McGlone. So they get that. So the Wildcats will be starting 1st and 10 on about their own 35-yard line. If you're just tuning in with us, the Tanks forced a quick 3 and out. And Wildcats went back to punt. Richard Ellery caught it and returned it for a touchdown, 50 yards. The Tanks went for 2 and got stopped right at the line. So right now it's 6-0. The Wildcats have the ball back. And all right, the Wildcats are coming out. And the Wildcats are in an I form, but we got a whistle. And the Wildcats are going to call timeout. So, all right. Well, during the timeout, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank some of our sponsors. We'd like to thank Weaver's Gas and Oil, Roger W. Davis Funeral Home, and South Shore Weight Loss Center. We thank you all, and we appreciate for everything you've done for the program. And
yes, indeed.
You've got some more here. Tania, would you like to thank these sponsors?
We have Minix Giovanni's, Mex Italian Inn, and the Briar Patch and Westside IGA.
All right. Appreciate Tania. And we're very, I'm sure they're definitely, our sponsors are definitely happy given the start of the season and how that's gone off. And also a big shout-out here to Nick Newton doing our camera. Nick's been involved with the program, and it's been a great asset to our program, and well said. And, yeah, all right. Well, Wildcats are getting lined back up. We're getting play back underway. They're in an I formation, tied in to the right side, wide out to each side. And Cole Boggs drops back to snap, and it looks like we've got encroachment on the Tanks. Tanks just got a little too the Tanks run that aggressive blitzing defense, and I think just got a little too excited there. So
yes.
It's going to be 1st and 5. 11:20 to go in the first quarter. Tanks lead 6-0. And the Wildcats are lining up in the I formation. And once again, they stick with the same thing, tied into the right, wide out to each side. Cole Boggs lines up to snap and fakes a handoff and gives it to the fullback, and they smash him in the backfield. Wow.
By Chance Freeman and Drew Taylor.
Wow. All right. That was a big stop there. It was 2nd and 5, and they lost a good 4 or 5 yards on that play, and they're going to call it 2nd and 9. Okay, that's a good start. And, not to look ahead, Tania, but from watching the Lightning last week, they ran this exact same offense pretty much the whole way. So it's going to be That's going to be interesting. All right. The Wildcats line up. Shotgun this time. Back to the right of Cole Boggs. 2 wideouts to each side. And we got to delay a game on the Wildcats. So the Wildcats went from 1st and 5 quickly to 2nd and about 14. So they've had 2 penalties so far, and both have been delay of game.
It looks as if they changed quarterbacks. Am I right?
That might be who. Yep, looks like. Is that? No, on that same formation. They hand off to the slot receiver on a jet sweep, but it's going nowhere. But we got and another flag down. Number 27, Timothy Green, took the handoff and got stopped right at the line. They tried to do a jet sweep. Timothy tried to cut up the middle, but was met, and looks like no penalty on the play. Looks like they're waiving it. So we got another 3rd and long. We got a 3rd and 14. So Wildcats in shotgun. Back to the right of, looks like it's still Boggs in the backfield, and then 2 wideouts to each side. Tanks show blitz up the middle with a 4-man front, and drops back, looking, throws it, and it's picked off. It's picked off.
Ellery.
Wow, Ellery again. He's running. He's to the 20, to the 10, and he trucks right into the end zone. Touchdown, Tanks.
Wow.
Tanks are leading 12-0, and their offense has not taken the field yet.
This defense is on fire.
Tania, this is just unbelievable just watching. That's the 2nd interception return for a touchdown they've had, and the 3rd defensive touchdown this season. So we will take that any day. I mean, .905 in the 2nd quarter. Tanks up 12-0, going for 2. The Tanks are lining up in the T formation, tied into each side, 3 backs side by side behind Job Swords. And Swords makes the call. He snaps it, hands it off up the middle, and that's Jontez Jones, and he just squirts right through the middle for the 2-point conversion. So the Tanks are leading 14-0 in the 1st quarter with 9:05 to go. Wow, quite a start, isn't it, Tania?
Yes, it is.
Wow, that's awesome. 14-0 already. So we're in the 1st quarter here. Wow, how about Richard Ellery? He had that pick last week. And
yes, he is.
got stopped at the line, and
he said, "Let's go ahead and get this game over with. Let me go out here and smack up some few players and get done."
Yeah, it's a great comeback for him after last week with everything that happened with when he picked that off, ran it back, and then ended up getting stopped at the line. So that's definitely a big play. All right, Tanks line up. Zach Christensen lines up to kick off. He kicks it back to about the 20-yard line, and it's dropped. Picked up, ball's dropped again, and number 30. Yes. The ball is recovered, and the Tanks have it, and they will take their first possession of offense, up 14-0. That is Ashland native Isaiah Gideon, again having a fumble recovery. He had one last week as well. All right, what a start. Tanks will take the ball 1st and 10 on their own, on the Wildcats 21, or on the Wildcats about the 29-yard line. And back in shotgun for a wideout, 2 wideouts to each side. Swords takes a snap, fakes the handoff. He throws it. Oh, he's got somebody over the middle.
No, that's Snook Martin.
Snook Martin on the catch. Touchdown, Tanks. Snook Martin ran a fade route over the middle from the slot position. There was nobody, around him hardly. He had beat the defense by a good 5 yards, and it's 20-0, and with 8:51 in the first quarter, and the Tanks are going to line up, and Tania, it looks like they might be trying an extra point here.
It looks as yep. We got Zach out here.
And, yep, they're going to go for an extra point. Zach Christensen lines up to kick. And they're kicking from the 15-yard line this year, so that's a pretty good distance field goal. And the snap's bobbled. And
A.J. Williams caught in the back.
Williams brought down the backfield. The snap was low, and Williams tried to do what he could with it, but all right, so, it's that quick into the game. 8:51 to go in the first quarter, and the Tanks are leading the Wildcats 20-0. If you're just tuning in, the Tanks started off forcing a Wildcats 3-and-out. Richard Ellery took a punt back and ran it back for the score, then missed the 2-point conversion. Then the Tanks forced him on third down and forced an interception. Richard Ellery took it, ran it back, and trucked a Wildcats defender to get into the end zone. Then Isaiah Gadian, next play on kickoff, recovers a fumble. And then the next play after that, Snook Martin scores on a 29-yard pass from Job Swords. So that's the game so far, and now Zach Christensen is lining up to kick. All right. Zach Christensen taking instructions from special teams coordinator Mark Deal. And he kicks it. It's kicked. Pretty good kick there. And it's returned by number 27, Timothy Green. He takes it, runs it out to about the 28-yard line before he's brought down. And that is number 31. That is Henry Butler on the tackle. Makes a good stop there. All right, so Tania, looks like where the Wildcats are, and they haven't really had bad field position, but they really haven't been able to, knock on wood, been able to move the ball so far. It's 20-0. We're at 8:43 in the first quarter. Tanks are leading, and the Wildcats are going to try to give it a shot again. They start on their own 28. And they're out in an I form, but we've got some whistles. And, okay, just looks like they're resetting something. Okay, so that's back in the I formation, tight end to the right, one wide out to each side. Wildcats, Tanks in a four-man front and showing blitz up the middle. It's handed off to the big fullback, number 50, Cody Straw, and he runs it up the middle for a couple yards. Man, and I'll say, they've got some big dudes in their backfield. All right, so the Wildcats are lining up again, I formation, tight end to the right, one wide out to each side. Tanks in a four-man front, showing blitz again, and they run hard up the middle, and they hand it off to looks like that was Sean Manley, and he went nowhere that time. The former Tank got the handoff, and he got tackled as soon as he touched the ball, and that makes it for 3rd and 12. Wow, our defense so far, Tania, that's hopefully, I don't want to say anything to jinx us, but oh, wow. You know, you couldn't help but wonder last year, with this team, what would happen, if they had a real good offense to work with. Okay.